Joining us is president of the Online Gaming Association of TNT, a man who's no stranger as well to the observer. We speak to almost everybody. Mr. Dean Prasad. Pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Prasad.
Good evening to you, Mikee K, and to your audience.
Yes, your voice alone, it tells of the stress,
Yeah,
the
man.
challenges, the challenges and the stress that you're going through. Almost every day, or at least twice a week now, we're hearing about lotto booths that are being robbed, um, especially caught up in this crime siege. How has that been affecting? I know we spoke about it before, but has there been any improvement as far as talking to the vendors, securing, the assets and what have you?
Um, well, the agents have been doing what they can to secure themselves and to avoid that risk and to mitigate against robberies. The rest is in the hands of the police, the law enforcement agencies, and some of it rests squarely on the shoulders of NLCB as well. And I say this because, yes, we have to do what we can as agents to secure ourselves, but the NLCB is now making it mandatory. They have made it mandatory since last year around October for agents to do night safe deposit, and we kicked a fuss over that. I think we did an interview on that as well.
Yeah.
Um, at that time, to the Bankers Association, there was an uptick in robberies with clients leaving the banks, and just after they left the banks, they were being robbed. And the Bankers Association came out and said that they would really want to work with the police, the law enforcement, and the government to mitigate against this. And I took the opportunity to write the bank, Scotiabank in particular, because FCB introduced the mandatory system about 5-6 years ago. We kicked first on that, and a lot of agents moved from FCB to Scotia. So, riding on the back of what the Bankers Association said about wanting to work with the police and the law and the government, we said to them, well, if you want to work, then give us the option to do over-the-counter deposit, because a lot of agents are petrified with going to the night safe deposit, which is outside of the bank, in full glare of the public, your back turned to the road, so you don't know, you're open to the criminal elements, and of course it's called night deposit, but you can make that deposit anytime, and any time of the day it is also dangerous. So we had asked them, I wrote to them, I told the NLCB as well, I wrote to the banks, and we got nothing, no answers from them, and they went ahead and they did the mandatory night safe deposit. So we have no choice but to do that now. On top of that, NLCB was also considering, they had already gone out to agents to tell them to remove the one-way glass if they have one-way glass, and to remove the tint and some of the burglar proof that is blocking the view of the patrons and so on. And we said that is madness, right? I have not heard anything for some time from agents about NLCB sending people to investigate if we have done that. So I am hoping, and I'm thinking that they may have stopped that process. But the fact remains that they are doing things that are always agent unfriendly.
Yeah, but the thing about it, Mr. Prasad, when you hear about these legal agents who are making all their statutory payments, who are basically plying their business, doing what they have to, it seems like it's sort of a Herculean task. It's quite of a challenge to simply talk to the banking system, talking to NLCB. But you can go to almost any corner now and you have this bushway thing going on. And I mean, they are not paying any taxes, they're not paying for any license, they're not paying for any bond, but they're operating freely. Their expenditures may not be as much because, again, they can put up this in any little rat hole, as the case may be. But shouldn't that be the target and try to streamline what you have legally? Because this is actually supposed to be benefiting Trinidad and Tobago when this money is collected by NLCB. Then why are the agents being treated in such a manner?
Yeah, and as I said, this is deja vu. I've said this over and over that the authorities are doing nothing whatsoever. We have had meetings with 2 commissioners of police, Dwayne Gibbs, I said this before, when he was there since then, right, when Dwayne Gibbs was here, and we had one with Mr. Gary Griffith when he was there, and we had one subsequent meeting, and senior officers were saying that, well, they have a sting operation going on, and they have 2 people before the courts and so on. The same thing, Herculean task, Mama Guy, nothing comes out of it. I see uniformed police going to these in illegal playway places and playing playway and coming out, and normal thing.
Yeah, you're right.
So there's nothing that we can do except voice our disgust and our frustration, and we thank people like you for giving us the opportunity and the forum to do that. But NLCB couldn't care less about their agents.
Let's put things correctly here, because I like to shoot from the hip and not holding back on this. But one thing history has taught us here in Trinidad and Tobago, that when those who are legally plying their trade and doing their business come up with some sort of element that is challenging to them, it may be that the authorities want to change the entire system and put it in the hands of some other individuals to manage. It always seems, because I can't understand why you would put so much pressure on these agents as far as to make their payments, pay their workers, and yet still you're not meeting them halfway. Now we're hearing talks about the bond. I don't know if you're aware, talks about putting up a bond, and it's fine if NLCB goes after those who are delinquent. If you have delinquent payers, go after them. It's right. But why is Peter paying for Paul all of a sudden?
Right, and you would have seen the notice that I sent out to all of our agents, and I suppose that's the reason why you called me, because we had a meeting this morning with NLCB, and they are saying that they want agents who are not paying the bond, who did not take out the bond, because this bond, security bond policy came out in 2018. So they are saying now that agents who are owing them money prior to who became agents prior to 2018 are now required to take out a bond of $25,000, and eventually those agents who are not even delinquent will be required to pay a $25,000 security bond, right? So our response to that was, why penalize the agents, the good agents, because of the bad agents? That's one. Two, if I am owing you some money, Mikee K, how it is now you want me to take out, I owe you $30,000 or $40,000, right? And then you want me to take out a bond for $25,000 on top of that. So I'm now owing you $55,000. Right? So I don't can't pay the first $30,000. You want me to take out a bond of $25,000, right? It's madness. I mean, make it make sense, right? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So we are telling them, leave the agents that are not delinquent, that the agents who got a machine before this security bond thing came out, leave them alone and deal, as you rightly say just now, deal with the agents that are delinquent. And in the first place, we asked NLCB this morning, why it is that you have agents who are delinquent owing you such sums of money? This has to be over a period of time.
Right.
You should put a check on that in the first instance. If you see something going wrong, put a check on that in the first instance, right? And we find that there's nothing, I mean, they don't do things that are making any sense to us. They're always is nothing agent friendly. And as you rightly say just now too, they're always applying pressure to us, the ones who are paying taxes, who are doing things legally, right? Since 2007, and I'll tell you the kind of pressure they put in on us, right? And you will be aware of them too. Since 2007, right, when we had Mr. Louis Lee Singh, right, there has been no increase in commission, no agents conference. As a matter of fact, what we had since then is an increase in the weekly fee from $15 to $100, mandatory night safe deposit with all the accompanying costs of night bags and bank charges and so on falling on the agents. We have had an increase of the reactivation fee from $100 to $500. They have implemented interest charges on what they term late deposits. Right? I don't know if the NLCB is now a financial institution and if they are allowed to charge us interest on that. They have implemented the 25,000 security bond since 2018, and now they want to extend that security bond at $25,000. So everything that they have done since 2007, everything, and more so within the last 7, 8 years. It's to frustrate and to penalize the agents.
Yeah,
And to
and
make
Mr.
it hard.
Mr. Bassat, as well as I know there are some agents who complain of the fact that their machines are suppressed without any sort of prior notice or anybody investigating what the matter could be. God forbid, someone may have had a heart attack, someone may have died in the family, and how could you look at, perhaps, there has to be a trend. And if one pulls up, a report, or let's say, yeah, a report of one of the agents, and this person has been in good standing and what have you, and if at one time they fall short, how do you expect them to pay you when you haven't even asked a question, try to notify, find out what's the reason, and when you suppress them, then how are they going to make the payment if you shut down their business?
Exactly. And we told them this. We said, look at the history of the agent. If historically that agent is a good agent, depositing the money on time, all the time, and one time you see a situation that is, out of the ordinary, reach out to the agent, call the agent. Now, they will tell you that they're calling the agent, right? But the agent, that is not true. Because, and when the agent in turn now calls NLCB, they could never get on to anybody, right? And we are saying to them, investigate it. Find out first what is the problem. It may be because, as you say, some personal issue. But most of the times now, it is the bank that is not remitting the funds on time to NLCB. They are not taking up the bags on time, and they're not, NLCB has a deadline. And we are not to be blamed for that if the banks are not remitting the funds. Bags go missing, Mikee K, for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And you shut down an agent for 3 weeks because the bank cannot find the bag. And it's not that the bag is not there. So I want to ask NLCB, the next thing we have to do now is to go down and shoot with the bag. Because what else could we do?
Yeah.
Well, when you go, Mikee K, and you make a deposit to the bank or the night deposit, there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
The NLCB now will call them 3 days after or 4 days after or the next week and say, go to the bank and find out what happened. When you go to the bank, you have to pick a number, you have to sit down for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and they can't find the bag. You're telling NLCB that your machine shut down, you're losing income, and then when they finally find it, you have to pay $500 reactivation fee. I mean, this is so unfair to agents. I don't know.
Yeah, my friend, I'm telling you straight out, something isn't right, and I believe there's somebody who has an alternative system that is going to put a lot of money in a lot of people's pockets, and they simply may want to implement this, because I can't understand, from agent to bank to NLCB, why is there a communication problem where each party isn't working together? The agent wants to do their part, but the bank, for whatever reason, is not cooperating, and then you have an LCB that is applying some of these pressures and things on these agents that are not adding up. So again,
and it's unfair. And Mikee K, I did some research. The real delinquent agents, they're less than 50.
Yeah.
Right now we have 1,200 agents. You want to come God wash everybody now? I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking they want to make money off the agents now. Right, and then they're not giving you any interest on that bond, and they want to charge you interest on your late deposit.
Yeah.
And then when you ask them for increase or to reduce the reactivation fee or the weekly fee, they have no money. They can't do that. But yet you're seeing sponsorship all over this country. I mean, I was looking at the Calypso Fiesta on Saturday, the semi-finals, right?
Right.
And you can hardly even see some of the contestants because the NLCB signs blocking them. The cameraman have to look at them.
And I'm certain when you bring that up with them, they're going to tell you that is, that has already been scheduled way in advance. Mr. Bassat, I want to thank you so much. Keep up the fight. The Observer is here. We're going to highlight these issues. All the best to you and your entire team. Good luck, and wish you all the best.
Good night to you too, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.